Hello, what's happening guys? It's DK Priori and welcome back to another episode of Let's Try Linux, and this time we're looking at Linux Mint. So Linux Mint, for those of you that don't know, is it's going to be definitely more familiar to those who have come from Windows. You can see that straight away. Obviously, in our previous episode we looked at Ubuntu, and it looked significantly different to a Windows operating system. It had the taskbar down the side, the application manager took up the whole screen. You scroll through little icons on that screen. Sometimes you use the terminal to get things done. With Linux Mint, you've got your taskbar along the bottom, which functions exactly the same way as it does on Windows. You click the icon, you get your menu to come up, which, as you shuffle through different options here, you get your relevant software at the side. You can also search, just like Windows. You can also have all your icons on the desktop, just like Windows. You'll see I've got VMware Tools here. On this operating system, VMware Tools doesn't install immediately like it did with Ubuntu. I had to install that manually by taking it off the disk. If I go in here, manage, reinstall VMware Tools, that fires up a disk. I dragged the package off the disk to the desktop, extracted that out of the package, and then used the console to do the rest. I've got a video about that. If you've not seen it already, go check it out, because if you want to install Linux Mint and you want it to look like this as a virtual machine, you're going to have to do that. So Linux Mint is sort of based on Ubuntu or Debian, however you like to pronounce that. And according to the developers, it's meant to provide a modern, elegant and comfortable operating system which is both powerful and easy to use. Well, right off the bat, it's definitely easy to use because it looks so much like Windows. And I should say, it comes with out of the box functionality. It's got everything you need, from all the the softwares that you could need, down to all the codecs for video and audio. So that's all bundled in with it. As you can see right there, install multimedia codecs. So let's install that. Pop in the password. Do you want to install package? And there you go. No need for the terminal. We could have done that through the terminal if we wanted, but instead we just clicked on something and there's a UI for it, like in Windows. So that's going to do its thing. Now I should say our last video with Ubuntu was very long. It was a lot longer than I anticipated when I was recording that, and that's more because there was a large portion of it that was introduction to Linux and giving you information about what Linux is. I'm not going to rehash that. We're just going to have a little play around with Linux Mint today, so it should be much shorter, much more digestible, because I know you guys prefer the shorter videos that I do than the longer ones, so I'm well aware of that, and I'm going to try and keep this one relatively short, and I'm going to try and keep the rest of the Let's Try Linux series relatively short as well, so you can just, you can sit on the loo and watch it. So this desktop environment is Cinnamon. You can also get Mint in Marte, but Cinnamon is what we went for with this. You've got Cinnamon, Marte and XFCE for Linux Mint. Cinnamon is the most feature rich, and it comes with the most stuff, and it's graphically probably the best. Then you've got XFCE at the bottom end, which is for older machines. So, you know, if you've got a machine that is, you know, 10, 12, 15 years old, XFCE might be the way forward because it's very lightweight and it performs really well. So you can breathe some life into that old machine. Marte is basically the go-between of the two. Let's put that one on. So Marte is like, it has the sort of features and functionality of Cinnamon, but it has a lot of the performance benefits of XFCE. So it depends on your machine. I'm running this in a virtual machine, so you would think I'd go for XFCE, and if I was bothered about performance of a virtual machine, I would go for XFCE. But in this instance, I'm sticking with Cinnamon because I wanted that full desktop experience and I wanted to showcase that in the video. So I'm just going to whiz through the preferences. Color. Each device needs an up-to-date color profile to be managed. Add profile. Add. What did that do? View details. Let's have a look. Color management integration for the Genome desktop environment. Fuck it. Let's put that in. So yeah, as I was saying, you don't have to go for Cinnamon. You can go for something like XFCE or Marte, depending on your device. Color management settings, that really didn't do much. Manage Cinnamon applets. Oh, I see. This like lets you see what comes up, see what's visible, and then you can go here. Cache is out of date. Yes, let's download another cache. Spices warns you when installed spices require an update or new spices are available. Okay. And this is all sorts of system monitor. Let's get that because we want to have a look at the system. Cinnamon menu, a flexible menu providing formatting options, web bookmarks, open window lookup, and search provider support with fuzzy searching. Okay. Real-time information. Yeah, let's get that. Okay, I think we're good there. So those are places. Now let's find system monitor. And what was the other thing we just downloaded? System. I can't even remember. Let's have a quick look. Was it in here? Graphical hardware monitor. No. Interesting. What's hex chat? Oh wow, cool. So we've got like an encrypted chat service. Interesting. I mean, at least I think that's what it is, just looking at it. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me. Official Linux Mint support channel. Oh, okay. No, that's a really good feature. Because in a later video, you'll I'll talk about some problems I've been having with one of the other distributions that I've installed as a virtual machine, and I can't find the solution to the problem. I've tried everything that I could find on Google. I even went into Reddit and asked for tech support. The big brains there couldn't solve it. So it'd be nice to have this feature in that distribution so that I could just message you know, a tech support person for that particular distribution and ask them what the fuck is going on. Yeah, that's cool. Let's open up the terminal. I don't think top works. Oh, it does. Oh, yeah, of course, because it's still Ubuntu. Let's maximize that. So it's running pretty well. It's running pretty well, and as you can see, just using it, it's not it's not slow. It's not lagging. You know, a lot of people say installing Linux as a virtual machine, you'll experience a lot of lag and slow boot times and stuff. Granted, it doesn't boot, and it will never boot in a virtual machine as fast as it does on a real machine. But it boots fast enough, and once you're in the system, it functions really nicely. Just running some system checks. No, nothing there. Desktop. Show icons from missing monitors. Cool. What I'm looking for is if there's a way to change all the effects and stuff. Yeah, effect style. Cinnamon's fine on that. Customize settings, mapping windows, close. So you can change all the animations for interaction with Windows. You can do this really well in a KDE Plasma desktop environment. On my old laptop, I had Kubuntu installed in KDE Plasma, and I tweaked all of that shit. And when we get to our first Plasma distribution for this series, that's exactly what we're going to do. I'm going to show you just how capable and customizable the Plasma interface is. It's all UI stuff. You literally find these menus, tweak them to your liking, and the changes appear in real time. It's fantastic. Tiling and snapping windows. Scale? What does that do? Oh my god. Nothing. That's cool though. Administration, power statistics, disk usage analyzer. Alright, that just tells me. So I actually made this a 20 gig drive. I don't know why it says 21 there. and you can see just how big the installation of Cinnamon Linux Mint is. Because the only other thing I've added is VMware Tools, and it's a small package. It's less than 500 meg, I think, off the top of my head. So the installation is taking up, that much of the hard drive. If I installed a 20 gig virtual drive, a 20 gig virtual disk, and there's 13.5 available, that's 6.5 gig for the installation. So what else have we got here? Software manager. So if you didn't want to install anything through the terminal, remember you can run commands in the terminal. Sudo apt get Chromium. This probably won't work. Yeah, it's not going to work. Off the top of my head, I don't bloody know the terminal command to get Chromium. But if you don't want to go through the terminal palaver, or is it super user do apt get install Chromium browser? There we go. That's the right command. So you can install that way, and if you don't feel too comfortable doing super user do commands in the terminal to install stuff, then you've always got the software manager to fall back on. So we just install Chromium. This will search the software repositories, and basically, yeah, okay, I just typed that in off the top of the dome there. But if you preferred, it's good practice to use super user do commands in the terminal, because if you ever need to solve a problem with your system, your terminal is going to be your bread and butter. So if you're ever feeling like, right, I want to download something and I want to do it in the terminal just for shits and giggles, but I don't know the name, I don't know what I've got to type after install, if you type it in, the repository will be, the item in the repository will have the same name as what you need to type into the terminal. So I just typed in Chromium-browser because I remembered that that's what I had to type in. But then it turns out that's exactly what it is in the repository. So if you're ever stuck for the name of an app, just find it in the repository through the software manager and then type that into the terminal and you'll find what you need. So is that installed properly? Internet, Chromium web browser, there we go. Straight away. So this is the homepage of Linux Mint. Last update is March 2020. And as you can see, there's Cinnamon, Marte, XFCE, that's what I was talking about before. You can download everything you need here. If your computer's pre-2007, go for 32-bit. If it's after 2007, which means it likely has 4 RAM or more, 4 gig of RAM or more, go for 64-bit. If your machine's quite old or you're wanting more performance than anything else, XFCE is the way to go. If you want something that's feature rich and you want the full desktop experience like what I'm using here, go for Cinnamon. And if you want the middle ground between the two of them, go for Marte. Bearing in mind whether you need 32-bit or 64-bit, it'll likely be 64-bit. So that's everything that you need there. There's documentation in a bunch of languages. troubleshooting guide, you know, everything you need is here. Cinnamon Edition PDF. What's this? Your user guide. Cool. So this will tell you everything. You know, if you're stuck and you can't find anything on Google, just look at the Linux website, get the user guide. And you know, you'll find what you need. See, I'm just looking at how to change stuff about the menu. Configure. There we go. Menu. Open the menu editor. So that's how you adjust all of this stuff. So that's that. But as you can see, Linux Mint is a stable, well-performing operating system. And if you've never used Linux before and you're coming from a Windows background, maybe Linux Mint is the one for you, because it is so familiar to a Windows user. It basically looks exactly the same. So we've just had a quick play around in it. As I say, these videos, I won't be doing anything too in-depth. If I do videos that go more into depth about a particular feature or a particular workaround or anything like that, they'll be separate from the Let's Try series. The Let's Try series, it's all about just having a really quick look at these different distributions, what they look like, what they feel like, and how they perform on the system. So this has been Linux Mint. Like I say, if you're coming from a Windows background, this might be the one for you. Bear in mind, XFCE, Marte or Cinnamon, depending on your machine. But yeah, I've had a good time with Linux Mint. It's a really nice system. I think I prefer it to Ubuntu, if I'm honest with you. So it's based on Ubuntu, but it looks like a Windows system. So yeah, I think I've had an easier experience with this than with Ubuntu. So anyway, I've been DK Priori, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.